Om Shanti. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome to another Yoga Small Talk, and we continue with 7 minutes Bhagavad Gita a day. We've reached chapter 3, called the Yoga of Action, and the chapter starts with a question by Arjuna. And although this question looks very, very innocent, this question actually holds the very key to our ability to succeed on the path of karma yoga, to our ability to succeed on the spiritual path, and actually relates in a very deep way to our ability to take spiritual advice. It is very beautiful, and we will be exploring it now. Arjuna said, verse 1, "If thou thinkest that knowledge is superior to action, O Krishna, why then, O Keshava, dost thou ask me to engage in this terrible action?" Verse 2, "With this apparently perplexing speech, thou confusest, as it were, my understanding. Therefore tell me that one way for certain by which I may attain to bliss." Now, to understand this question, we need to review chapter 2. We need to remember where Arjuna is coming from. So, chapter 1 was describing the despondency of Arjuna. Arjuna's despair. He's on the battlefield, he's seeing his relatives, his teachers, his beloved friends, all of them on the opposite side, waiting to fight, and he knows he'll need to kill them. And he's very, very unhappy with this. And the way he sees it, it's a lose-lose situation. If he kills them, he will never ever be happy. And he describes it in the beginning of chapter 2. He says, "This pain that burns my throat," he's feeling so miserable. He cannot even think about it. It's a dreadful, dreadful pain. That he says, if I'll succeed, of course, if he will not succeed, he gets killed in battle. And this is also not a good prospect, although he says at a certain point, I prefer that they will kill me when I'm unarmed, unresisting. So for him, it's a completely lose-lose situation, and he's completely despondent, he's in despair, and he wants to walk away from the battlefield. Now he's telling his teacher and friend, Lord Krishna, I will not fight. I'm in such a terrible condition that the bow is slipping from my hand. I'm in terrible despair and nothing can remove this sorrow. And Lord Krishna sees this, and he sees a complete disaster. In his view, Arjuna is about to condemn himself in the worst possible way. By not doing his dharma, which is fighting, the dharma of a soldier to fight in a righteous war. By not doing his dharma, there are several bad things that will happen to him. He will gain dishonor by everybody. So in this world, he will be ridiculed, he will be dishonored. Now, he's not doing his dharma. He's not fighting a righteous war. He's gaining demerit. This is unfavorable karma. So even in the next life, he will have only pain. Now Arjuna is saying, I'm leaving this battlefield. I want to go to the forest. I want to live on alms, become a renunciate, a swami. And Lord Krishna sees Arjuna and knows that this renunciation is not coming from a place of understanding what renunciation is, for burning desire to be liberated from the cycle of birth and death, from dispassion, from discrimination. None of this, on the contrary. As a reason for this dispassion, Arjuna is telling, I'm full of sorrow, meaning I completely identify with I and mine. I consider myself to be the body. I consider them to be the body. I consider them to be mine and I am theirs, and therefore I cannot do this. So he's not at all ready to renounce the world. He just wants to walk away from the scene so he will not have to confront this pain and this problem. This is how deep his despair is, and Lord Krishna is determined to save him once Arjuna, as we said, presents the right key. He's asking for guidance, asking for advice, expressing his despair, and offering his complete self-surrender to receive this knowledge. And then what happens is Lord Krishna sees that Arjuna is in such a terrible, terrible, terrible condition that he's giving him the strongest therapy, like a shock. He's giving him the highest knowledge, Jnana Yoga. He's telling him, you are not the body, you have grieved for those who should not be grieved for, you do not understand the nature of this world. And Arjuna gets inspired. And then from the highest, from Jnana Yoga, he's taking him to the lowest, not even yoga. He's telling him, but if you'll continue with what you want to do, everybody will ridicule you. It's not like you will be setting a good example. You'll just be ridiculed and related to as a coward. And then from there he takes him to Karma Yoga. Okay, so you need to act, but now that you know what the highest knowledge is, now that you know what the grand prize is, now you can act. But how act? Karma Yoga, skill in action. And then he gives some more advice. What is this further advice and how this relates to us? Now, in our condition, we will discuss in our next talk. Please join. Om Shanti.